Hello there, my friend, and welcome to the live web TV broadcast this week. And this week I'm going to discuss how to make offers on pretty houses, which is a subject that I get a lot of questions about. It seems complicated, but when you break it down into its simplest form, it's really not. Here's the deal. There's really only three basic types of pretty house calls you're going to get, or sellers that are advertising. Actually, there's four. And the fourth one, I'll tell you, is free and clear houses, which we're not going to get into on this video. I mean, I do a 3-day event just on handling houses that are owner financed and free and clear. But right now, let's focus on the three main types of deals that's going to come across your desk. Number one, you're going to get someone who will call you with a house with a loan on it and will be glad to sell it to you for what's owed on it and want nothing to get out. It'll have some equity in it, or you're not interested in it. Example, $200,000 house, $270,000 loan on it, excellent condition, and a good payment. If you run across one of those, you know you can probably buy the house for what's owed on it. So the only thing you got to then ask yourself, do I want it? Do I like where it's located? Do I think it's in a sellable market? And is it good condition? Because I don't want to have to go in there and spend money on it. And is the payment low enough to where I can easily cover it with a rent-to-own tenant buyer? Your objective, of course, get the house for free, take over the debt subject to, put a tenant buyer in it, pick up $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, quick cash on a non-refundable deposit, and then have a monthly spread, at least a small monthly spread, between the amount of rent you're collecting, which is more than the market will pay on straight rent, and what you're paying. So you don't have a lot of equity in it, but you do get thousands of dollars up front out of it and a little monthly spread until the buyer goes out and cashes it out at a later time by refinancing it. Now the second type of deal you're going to get, this could be the same house, except they owe $270 on it, but they don't want to give it away, just walk away, they want a little bit of money. Now the first type, take over the debt, no money. Second type, take over the debt with a little bit of money. So you're just going to have to decide, is there enough equity in this house to make me want to write a check for a few $1,000s and take over their debt, because they won't move without it, they won't sell till they get moving money, or they feel like they just have to have some money out of the deal. If there's enough equity, I quite often write checks for anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, sometimes even $20,000. But if I write a check for $20,000 to buy a house, you better believe it's going to have a lot more equity in it. I mean, if I write a check for $20,000, I want $60,000, $70,000 worth of free equity, because the minute I write a check, I expect more equity. When I'm not writing checks, I can take a lot less equity. I'll take over a debt all day long of $280,000 on a $300,000 house if it's got a low enough payment on it that I can turn it around quickly and get $10,000, $15,000 out of it. Now the third type are the kind where you got a loan down here and a purchase price up here, and there's a big gap in the middle. For example, $200,000 house, $125,000 loan on it, and they'll take $270,000 for the house, but they are agreed up front that they don't have to have it all cash right now. Because I can tell you, my friend, if they need $270,000 and they owe, $170,000 and they owe $125,000, and the only way they can sell the house is if they get the difference in cash, I'm out of here. There's nothing I can do for them, because I'm not going to pay $170,000 for a house with only $30,000 equity in it, and I got to come up with all that bunch of cash. Not going to happen. So the question I ask them is very simple. If you and I agree upon a price, and I take over your debt now and get the payment off your back, will you wait till I cash out to get the balance of your equity? And if the answer is yes, I'll simply take over their debt subject to, I'll give them a second mortgage back with no payments and no interest, due and payable sometime in the future when I sell the house. So I put a tenant buyer on the property, and sometime in the future they get a new loan, they're ready to cash me out at $270,000, at which point I go back and cash out the seller and pay off the entire amount that I owe them. So as long as the seller will wait till I get paid for them to get their equity, I can buy their house. If they won't, I'm out of there. It's just that simple. So to recap, I want properties I can take over the debt with no money down, because they don't want any money for their equity. I want properties I can take over the debt and give them a little money, or I want properties I can take over the debt and pay them a larger amount, but pay them later when I cash out of the house. And that's pretty much it. Now, of course, there's always the short sale prospects that are going to come at you. They're properties that are leveraged for 100% or more, and that's a whole nother discussion right there, because this short sale thing is something that takes a little bit of time for you to learn to save you an awful lot of grief and running around chasing dead ends. If the house is over leveraged, I can tell you right now it's likely that you don't even want it. So for a large percentage of the prospects you're dealing with, I just gave you the 3 things you're looking for. And then again, the offers are going to depend on how much equity you get, how sweet a deal it looks, how low of a payment it is, sellability of the house, and how much you like the house and the area that it's in. So that's enough for now. Let me answer a few questions and I'll see you on next week's issue.